This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Good morning. Welcome to Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. This show speaks directly to entrepreneurs and small business owners to provide useful and necessary information to start and run a successful small business. Local business owners, educators, community leaders all help us help you, sharing timely and accurate advice that you'll find helpful as you develop your own business. Each of our 7 segments is designed to cover the important topics that any small business may encounter, as well as offer encouragement and inspiration and resources as well from those other business owners. The segments look at getting your business started, how to access the money, necessary capital, accounting and bookkeeping tips, thoughts on running your business day to day, and timely news perspectives in This Week in Business. We also always add a dose of inspiration with a local success story. We're here every week on Wish TV. You can catch the live stream on wishtv.com, and you can access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. Our site is growing every week with new content and additional resource information that you can access. Sign up for our newsletter, which is updated every Tuesday, and be sure to check out the BE&O podcast. Listen and subscribe so you won't miss a minute. If you have any topics that you think we should cover or you'd like to be part of the show, we welcome your emails. So, coming up on today's Business Equity and Opportunities. Rosy Casas is a broker with Libertad Real Estate in Indianapolis, a firm that specializes in companies and people that require multilingual representation. Creditworthiness may not be a term you're currently familiar with, but you'll need to know because for a lender, it can make all the difference in deciding whether you'll get a loan or not. Shea, CFO for Circle City Broadcasting, sat down with me to give us his insights into the world of accounting and bookkeeping. We begin where we do every week, the segment we call Getting Started. Each week we focus on different aspects of the planning process for a new business. This week we're talking to those of you who are including a brick and mortar location, a real place for your business plan. You probably figured out it can be a complicated process, especially when entrepreneurs' first language is not English. We found a company that's bridging the gap for those business owners to help them find their own pathway to success.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting Started.
Rosy Casas is a broker with Libertad Real Estate in Indianapolis, a firm that specializes in companies and people that require multilingual representation.
So the first thing they do is they contact me. Most of the time they don't know what they're doing, they don't know where to go or who to talk to, and they just know that they have the idea to start a business, and I just sit with them, I talk to them, and I just get the information about what kind of business they want to start. And I guide them through the process of from the finding the name, tell them all the spaces available around the area that they want to be at. And I just try to direct them to the right people if they need a loan or if they have their own finances in place. And the more information I get from them, then the more I can help them to start that business. And I've had the privilege of helping people as well that they had their own restaurant and they want to open a second location, and they just need me to be like the conduit of communication and knowledge between them and landlords and all the people that is involved in a transaction. I represent mostly the people that are Hispanic because they can relate to me. I come from Mexico, so I know what it is like to come to this country and not knowing the language, not knowing who to talk to, so they can relate to me. So my clients are clients that trust me because of that. I do a lot of videos for them. I use a lot of social media to communicate with them. So they trust me because of that, and they know that I get what they're looking for and I get the challenges that they face every time, even though they have sometimes the finances, like I said, or everything in place, but they don't know how to go and communicate with the right people to accomplish what they want to do. First of all, most of them is the language barrier. That's the first thing. And all the terminology, and especially when you are talking about business or purchasing a house, because I represent buyers a lot. I work with buyers, most of them. And it's a big challenge, the first thing. And then trying to find a way to get financing in case that they cannot get a traditional loan. And that's why I love working here at Libertad Real Estate, because we're very creative with it. And we always find a way to help them. So it's just a matter of trying to understand first of all, what they're looking for, and then where they want to live at or what they want to do, and then we can create a program for them or the tools that they need. But the biggest challenge, first of all, is the language. Some of them, they are previous owners of businesses in their countries, so they come here and they don't know the rules, they don't know the laws, they don't know that there's a different process. So it's challenging because we have to teach them from the very beginning so they can be successful. And even though sometimes they have the knowledge, we just have to help them to go through those obstacles and just to be successful in their business. It is amazing when I see them when they open up their business. I just remember this particular case of somebody who started a restaurant, and he started from the very beginning. Like, he just had the place to start it, but he didn't have like the kitchen or the furniture or nothing like that. And I saw that progress, and then at the end when I saw like the product, everything that he did, it was just amazing to see him grow and to see that the restaurant was actually very successful, and it was a very successful business, and it became very important for him and his family, and that was something that I had the opportunity to witness. And it's just amazing to see that somebody that is just like me coming here, not knowing, like I said, the language, not knowing what to do, and just having something to support our families. He actually moved back to Mexico, but he sold his restaurant and to this other owners that are very successful at it, and they have more restaurants, so it became part of it. So it was kind of the heritage that he left for other people to come and take over. That they also support other businesses, and they also support like other causes, or I don't know, probably charity or things like that. They are big supporters of that, and I know that because many of them are my friends and friends of my family. So they're part of the community. It's not that they're trying to do something like isolated from everybody else and just trying to do their own thing or not caring about everybody else or the other businesses or other communities. They are involved in it. So it's they cover like different areas, and it's just not about the money, and it's not just about the accomplishing their dream. It's about being part of the community. That's what it is like.
If you'd like more information about Libertad Real Estate or any of today's topics, visit our website, beoshow.com. When we come back, find out what it takes to take out a loan more than $500,000 and how creditworthiness makes a difference. Later, accounting and bookkeeping tips from a CFO, our CFO actually. If you have any questions or you'd like to be part of the show, email us, beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. You're watching Business Equity and Opportunities, and we'll be right back.
Getting Started, made possible by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Every new business owner faces the money question, how to access capital. There are many options for entrepreneurs, but finding the one that fits your needs can take a while and be difficult. Each week in this segment, we offer some options to consider, from the tried, true, and traditional to those that are compelling but a little less conventional.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to capital.
Small business owners have allies in the nonprofit sector who address topics like financial literacy and wealth building. The African American Legacy Fund of Indianapolis, a major fund of Central Indiana Community Foundation, recently announced a $100,000 grant to address wealth building activities in the local Black community. Marshawn Woolley is the project manager working directly with AALFI President Kiana Davis.
So the African American Legacy Fund was officially launched in, I believe it's 2020, right on the cuff of the pandemic. And it was really started as an initiative to bring some community-minded folks together in the African American community to say, what if we pulled our resources together in a philanthropic manner and at least try to solve some of the pressing issues in our community. And so with that initiative, we brought together a few of our colleagues, people we knew that were in the community, and said, hey, why don't you become a founding member of the African American Legacy Fund, which we call ALFI for short, to donate $2,000 apiece. And we were looking for 100 people to do that in the Black community. And we reached that goal initially, and then from there we had some matching funds that came in. We've done some fundraisers, but really a fund that's targeted to be raised by Black people in Indianapolis for organizations that serve Black people who are led by Black people and who are governed from a majority perspective by Black people.
According to the Association of Black Foundation Executives, less than 4% of dollars go to Black-led organizations. And so we really have an opportunity to define what philanthropy looks like in our community. And so we've done some different things already. First was the Every Dollar Has Dignity campaign, which allowed for folks who may not have been able to meet the initial give threshold to also participate by providing any dollar amount that they felt was meaningful to them, but also impactful to us. And so we did a campaign to talk about the importance of getting vaccinated. It was called Let's Stay Together, and we leveraged Black media to make sure that our community understood the importance of getting vaccinated. And that's something you could do different with philanthropy. It wasn't a program, it was a campaign. ALFI is really composed of two programs. One is the endowment, which is meant to grow over time with a goal of reaching $10 million. The second piece is a giving circle, which consists of our over 100 donors who come together to decide what we should do with roughly $100,000 that we'll have this year. And we came up with two concepts. Our wealth creation concept deals with developing individual development accounts and making sure that 7th through 8th graders have the opportunity to have an account and to get a chance to think about their future. We also want to see a 2-generation approach where you're teaching financial literacy to the young people, but then also the parents. We want to track that over time. I like to think of it as our baby bonds program. We have another program where it's really focused on wealth preservation, and that's really looking at housing strategies, and it's targeted at anti-gentrification. So we're looking for communities where there's been an increase of at least 10% in housing values inside of a year. Hopefully we'll get some support from folks. The deadline is October 15th. We've partnered with the leadership team to develop an application process. We're looking for 501c3 organizations or organizations that can support 501c3s that will either be able to manage a fund that deals with individual development accounts or manages a fund that deals with housing strategies as outlined in the RFP. We want to make sure that folks focus on one strategy or the other. We don't want them to mix them because we are trying to be very intentional about understanding impact. $100,000 on some levels is a lot of money, but then on another level, it's not a lot of money. And so one of the goals is really to try to understand what works.
And Marshawn, I would say this, that's very important because we want to understand the money that we're investing in the community is actually working. And so for us, that's meaningful. And so what we need in this collaboration and really a partnership with the organization that will be awarded this $100,000 is to understand their processes. We need to document everything because the idea is if this works, then we can go out there and really highlight and showcase to everyone else looking to invest that this works. The idea of connecting business to philanthropy, right? It benefits everyone. And as a tax accountant, not only does it benefit the business owner from a return on investment on the tax side, but really a humanity side. And that in this, we're providing two different options, right? Housing, some level of housing, which is a concern in Indiana, right? Just the idea of being in a safe, affordable place. And we hope that nonprofit and the partnership between nonprofit and for-profit allows us to create a space where workforce, the labor force, can be impacted positively. But I can tell you from my personal testimony, it's difficult to find good talent in very specified fields, and we hope that through this we have a level of curiosity between 7th, 8th graders as they matriculate through high school and college, that we can say down the line 10, 15, 20 years from now that we as business owners created that impact and that swell of a labor force. For the African American Legacy Fund, we want to partner with anyone who believes that the Black community has some of the best and creative ways to bridge some of the gaps that we have in the Black community.
We are Black donors engaged in a conversation with the larger philanthropic community. And so we're hopeful that as we go through this process, we'll continue to have the opportunity to both attract donors, but more importantly, to have an impact and stay engaged in communication with the larger philanthropic system.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And also, although we said $2,000, we do have this idea of every dollar has dignity, and that was very intentional, because what we do know in the African American community is we give more proportionate of our disposable income than any other racial group. We want to make sure that this is a community fund, that it's not reserved for just those who just have a lot of disposable income, but it is reserved for anyone who believes in helping the greater Indianapolis community.
If you'd like more information about accessing capital, visit us online at beoshow.com. While you're there, sign up for our newsletter for more resources. Up next in This Week in Business, find out resources available to you right now, free through the Indianapolis Public Library. Later, a group of women who are creating new ways to make sure that young Latina artists are able to showcase their talents. That and more when Business Equity and Opportunities returns.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. If you want to start your own business beyond our show, to keep up with the week in business, you need information. Where do you turn? Banks, the internet? Turns out the best place for info may be the oldest, the public library.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
Librarian Alexandrea Loewen organizes the library's Small Business Workshop series and shares her wealth of knowledge every day to assist business owners. She walks us through some of the ways that Indianapolis Central Library is helping small businesses get off to a great start.
The Indianapolis Public Library has been very proud to offer business information, services, and resources to the public of the city of Indianapolis for many, many decades now. Today, our business information services and resources are centered here at Central Library, where our business librarians are based, and the bulk of our resources are here as well. In addition, we have numerous digital business information resources that people can access from anywhere. Here at Central Library, our business librarians offer a number of different services and resources to our small business patrons. So for example, our building itself is a wonderful resource for business patrons. People can come here and have meetings with clients. They can do interviews with potential staff members. They can have staff meetings, Zoom meetings, especially since COVID happened. A number of our small business patrons actually make regular use of our private study rooms that we offer free of charge, and they will come in and use that space to do their Zoom meetings with clients, to give them a different background and a different place to have their meetings. Some people will do in-person meetings with clients. We've had people come in to do interviews. with potential staff members. We even had a business patron recently who came in and used one of our private study rooms to hold auditions. We also have a wide range of technology available here, including wireless printing services. We have a 3D printer, so any entrepreneur who is looking for how to create a prototype potentially for a product that they might wish to commercialize can make use of our 3D printer here at Central Library. We have public computers available, we have scanners, all those different kinds of things, so it makes it very convenient for a small business person to set up in here for the day and have all of those things right at their fingertips, essentially. Our signature service here at Central Library for small businesses is our one-on-one business research consultations that we offer. And what we do in those meetings is listen to the business patron, the entrepreneur, share with us all the details of what kind of business they want to start, the nature of their product or service, who their customer is, who their competitors are, the stage that they're at, and what information needs are relevant to them at this particular period. And then we determine with them which information sources that we have that would best fit their information needs at this time. The library, of course, has subscription-based information resources that are available to anybody with an Indianapolis Public Library card. These are digital resources, and so people can access them from anywhere. These resources tend to be things like business databases, so they will provide information on demographics. People can develop a mailing list, for example, of consumers or businesses that they would like to reach with their business. We can also assist them with competitor information and physical locations in the city if they are looking to have a bricks and mortar type of physical location for their business rather than strictly online or working from their home. And with technology now, there are some wonderful apps that the library uses so that people can download magazines and periodicals right to their devices. Our librarians have the expertise to be able to help them, or at least to direct them to where they could find that information. So just come to the library.
If you'd like to know more about what's happening at the Central Library, we have links on our website, beoshow.com.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome again to Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Accounting and bookkeeping may not have much to do with the reason you started your business, but you'll have to understand the fundamentals. Today, an expert that we know quite well explains the basic financial statements.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Ty Shea, CFO for Circle City Broadcasting, sat down with me to give us his insights into the world of accounting and bookkeeping.
Welcome back to Business, Equity, and Opportunities. It is time for the segment we call Accounting and Bookkeeping. Each week we turn to a different expert in the field for thoughts, and frankly, we have one of the best in our own backyard. Ty Shea is the Chief Financial Officer of Circle City Broadcasting and its many associated businesses. Ty, thanks for being with us. I think it's important to, if you will, help establish your bona fides here, because you're talking to a small business owner community, but it may feel like, a television station, that's not a small business. You guys, our boss, owner, Dewan McCoy, you run this very much like a family small business. So this does apply, correct?
Absolutely. And first of all, thanks for having me on, Scott. I'm very excited to be here. No question, there are a lot of parallels between some of your larger businesses to some of the small businesses that we're trying to reach out to right now. And at the end of the day, it comes down to, understanding your business and the goings on and the day-to-day. And the accounting and your financial statements are a reflection of that. It's kind of your report card of how your business is doing.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because frankly, let's say I've got the greatest recipe, or I have found a better way to build this widget, or I have a wonderful sort of service industry idea. That doesn't necessarily make me an accounting expert or financial expert, but that is an absolutely critical part to every business. So arm people with what they need to know in terms of the very basics. Can we go through some of the financial statements, if you will, starting with, for instance, a balance sheet? What is it? Why is it important?
Sure. A balance sheet is broken down, basically a very simple equation. Its assets are equal to liabilities plus owner equity. So assets on your books, those are basically items or equipment or things like that of value, right? And so if you have your assets, the liabilities in the owner equity section are basically who owns and what percentage of they own of those assets. So liabilities, those are whether it's your bills that you owe to your vendors, those can be loans that you have with a financial institution that you're dealing with. And then your owner equity, that's, basically kind of what's left over. That's what either money you've put into the business, or it is your residual ownership of profits, net profits over a period of time.
So that's a balance sheet. That's not the same as an income statement. These all sort of get mixed up a little bit in the mind if this is the first time we're going through it. So an income statement, what is it and how does it factor into all of this?
Great question. So an income statement is basically, I like to call it basically a report card over a period of time. Mm-hmm. A balance sheet is a snapshot in time of where your business is from an asset and a liability standpoint at a particular date.
Sure.
An income statement spans a period of time and is basically an accumulation, basically a report card of your revenues less any expenses over a period of time. And that's an overly simplistic 10,000 foot view of an income statement. But that's, basically the essence of it, which is revenues minus expenses equals net residual income.
Are there other documents we should be thinking about? And I say documents, maybe they exist in the online world these days, but other things aside from those two we should be thinking about?
Yeah, so those are the two biggies, and those are the ones, especially if you're going out and seeking financing from an outside third party, those are the two ones that they're going to focus on. Mm-hmm. Additional, financial statements that may be reviewed are a statement of cash flows, which is basically a summary over a period of time of what you're spending money on and how the money is coming in and how that is offset and reflected against your balance sheet. That can get a little into the weeds, and you may not necessarily need that at the outset. And then, an additional financial statement is, a statement of your owner equity, and that basically is just a reflection of any money you or another owner has put into the business.
Sure.
As well as a change in net income for a particular period.
It is interesting, and I want to drill down on something that you mentioned. For instance, if you're trying to access equity, the bank may want to see this. If we go into this thinking, these are only so that I can keep my books balanced, we may have the wrong impression, because it's possible, either by our choice or for other reasons, someone else may see these documents, and that underscores the reason to keep them tight.
No question. And yes, you always have to be thinking about any potential third-party user that is going to want to review those financial statements. And then consequently be prepared to answer questions about them, especially on the income statement. Any potential lenders are going to really drill down on the nature of your revenues, anything, large advertisers, if you have an overdependence on a particular advertiser, as well as, special, perhaps, one-time expenses, things of that nature. And so as a business owner, as you get in front of a potential third-party user of your financial statements, you're going to want to be able to answer questions about that and have those answers at your fingertips.
Shea, this is fantastic information. I feel like we could talk for a long time. So in future episodes of Business Equity and Opportunities, I want to ask you more questions. What is bookkeeping? Why is it important? How might it help us get the money we need to run our businesses? But for the moment, I know you've got a job to get back to help us out here. So we appreciate your time. Shea.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.
Still to come on Business Equity and Opportunities, how a group of women is making a difference in the lives of young Latina artists. That's next in Running Your Business Day to Day when Business Equity and Opportunities returns.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities and Running Your Business Day to Day. For an independent artist trying to make a living in the art world, small business galleries and mentors play a very important role in their success.
From Wish TV, this is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Running Your Business Day to Day.
There's so much talent in indie, and Latinas are just as talented as anybody else, and we're so happy about that.
Mirvia Sol Eckert from Puerto Rico and Mary Mindiola from Venezuela are making it their mission to empower Latina artists and shine a light on them.
People always want to see the artist behind the art. And that's very, very important. So I want them to feel confident. That's what our goal is.
That's why they created an all-woman group called Indie Latina Artists that provide mentorship and exhibition opportunities in both Spanish and English. The duo met years ago and discovered that they share a lot in common.
She was Latina like me, so there was a connection. And then I saw her at different shows. She started showing up at different shows with me. And we just started talking.
Last week, the group debuted its inaugural show at the Saks Fifth Avenue 3rd floor gallery. The exhibition runs until October 9th.
My culture is very, very important to me. And so I use those hot Caribbean colors to express my feelings. So I use a lot of different really bright colors.
A lot of artists that we have are just emerging, just getting to get the feel what it's about. And they are very talented. They want to be out there, they just don't know how. They're a little bit shy, they're intimidated by, the language.
We're hoping that they feel comfortable with us, that they come to us. Some of them, we help them out with their bios. This Saks was the first time they've ever exhibited.
Indie Latina Artists will host another event to showcase more art at the Circle City Industrial Complex in February 2023. In Indianapolis, Camila Fernandez, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
If you'd like more information about this segment or any of our segments, check out our website. It's beoshow.com. Last week in Running Your Business Day to Day, we spoke with the Labor Department about why it's so important for small businesses to know the law when it comes to hiring young workers. Just this week, the Department of Labor imposed fines totaling $42,000 on one Indiana company operating in Indiana and Michigan for child labor violations. Investigators say they found more than 100 minors who were working in violation of hours and time standards. The kind of problem the Labor Department is trying to head off with a major new information campaign to make sure business owners and their employees know the rules and follow them. You'll find a link to the Department of Labor on our website where you can learn more. Up next, our industry focus this week looks at the business of airports and one of the best in the country, right here in Indianapolis. That's coming up next on Business Equity and Opportunities. Stay with us.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back. Each week on Business Equity and Opportunities, we focus on a specific industry and hear from leaders in it about the current state of that sector and what the future may hold. This week's Industry Focus talks to the head of the Indianapolis Airport Authority. Local leaders estimate the airport's impact on central Indiana's economy is $5.4 billion and 10,000 jobs, as it also keeps winning awards.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
I'm an engineer. Bricks and mortars are only bricks and mortars. You could reproduce, this is a wonderful terminal. You could rebuild it 100 times over. There's no mystery or magic to it. The real mystery is people, and the real magic are people. Human capital is the most important thing we have. And time is the most valuable commodity we have and something we can't replace. So I choose to use my time very well. When I was coming up in the world, people helped me. And the least I could do is help other people. So for me, equity is really a moral imperative. It goes beyond doing the right thing. It is a moral imperative to me. And if you look at it from a business perspective, diversity is just a business necessity. People that don't see that are blind to the fact that it is an incredible business advantage to have a very, very diverse organization. As a matter of fact, right now, here, because of intentionality, 52% of this organization is either women or racial minorities. And we win awards over and over and over again. The awards really are a byproduct of respecting and making sure people feel respected and feel wanted here. And they, in turn, reciprocate to the customer, to the communities, to everybody else. And, we won the J.D. Power Award. It basically says it all. We want to make sure that the community understands that this is their asset. And we, to a certain degree, all work for them. This airport has an economic impact of $5.4 billion, but an economic impact to the community. So, for example, 80% of our spend last year was spent on local firms, which is a big number. Unless it's something like incredibly specialized, we buy local and we keep the money local. And that makes our community, I live in this community. The entire staff, the team lives in this community. They want to make this community better. I sit on various boards, the team sits on various boards also. So we want to make this community better, we want to give back to the community, we want to make sure that the community knows that we care. COVID compressed time. So what's happening right now, the transformational part of it is that there is not enough crews and enough capacity in the system. There's not enough folks that are senior execs that have seen this type of turmoil before to handle the turmoil. So we're going through a very, very, no pun intended, a very turbulent time. We'll eventually come out at the other side and everything will straighten out because more crews and more pilots are being trained. Execs are getting more seniority as they go along, and they're basically dealing with this chaos that's happening in the industry, and it's getting better and better and better. So long term, it looks very bright. In 2019, the United States moved over 1 billion passengers domestically and internationally. This is not a fad. This is the transportation system of the entire world. Unless people sprout wings or Elon Musk really comes up with some sort of device to shoot you across the planet, you're going to be flying in an aircraft. Whether the aircraft has 2 pilots or 1 pilot and part of it is automated or fully automated, you're still going to be in an aircraft, you're still going to go through an airport, and you're still going to go through the process. And it's a great process if you think about it. When I started in this industry to now, I could get on my iPhone, call an Uber. While I'm in the Uber, I could pick a flight and book a flight halfway across the planet. I could go through pre-check, hop on all of this within a couple of hours, which is amazing to what we've done. Now, the system is going through stress because of COVID. Now, another transformational part of it is that we had a lot more business than we had. The world had a lot more business flyers. Now, I'm not saying business travel is over. There'll always be a component of business travel, but it'll reduce. and it'll always be reduced. It won't go back to 2019 numbers. Now, what that means is that United, American, and Delta, who built their business model on business and first class, have got to rethink their financial models. And there's a lot of transformative things happening in the industry. Not enough people for the concessionaires. And you've seen that everywhere you've gone. You know, this state, has a wonderful, very low unemployment. I think the last time I checked, it was 2.6% unemployment, which is incredibly good on one hand and incredibly bad to find employees. So it becomes more difficult and more challenging. But the industry is actually finally waking up. And who are they focusing in on? Underserved communities. So they're focusing in on me, on folks that look like me, African Americans, to fill in the flight crews, the exec roles. Remember, of all the airlines that have flown in the United States, there's only been 2 that have had some diversity at the top. Some airlines are setting up flight schools, reaching out to underserved communities. Like I said before, over 50% of our staff are women or racial minorities. And we've reached out. We've partnered with schools. We've partnered with the community. Organizations such as the Urban League, which is a fantastic organization. You know, ILI, the Indiana Latino Institute, we've reached out, bonded with them, and they've helped us create that pipeline. Because, like I said before, to us, equity is a moral imperative, but diversity is it is a business necessity. And like I said before, the proof is here, right here in front of you.
Coming up next on Business Equity and Opportunities, we share another great success story. This one features a local CEO who was recently named one of the top 100 for diversity. Stay with us.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Each week on Business Equity and Opportunities, we share a success story from one of our business contributors in the hopes of inspiring entrepreneurs and small business owners to keep their dreams alive and keep following them. Today, we introduce you to a local CEO making big headlines.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities Success Story.
I ended up going to Vincennes University for a couple years, an architectural school, and then I transferred to actually Purdue in the construction school. Construction's just always been a real passion for me. And just very fortunate, I was in a couple student chapter organizations, and Associated Builders and Contractors was one that I spent a lot of time with. And so we were raising money to go to a national ABC competition. And it was at a golf outing. And I'm sitting there waiting on a contractor that sponsored me. It just so happened that it was John Gaylor with Gaylor Electric, the founder of this organization, a guy that put blood, sweat, and tears into this thing to make it where it was. And so he hired me on that golf course as an intern. So I worked here a couple years as an intern while I was in college and learned really kind of the business. He set me up and pushed, I went to a lot of different locations. And then when I came to work here full time, I started estimating. I worked through operations, I worked through regional management and those kind of things. And so really, I've done just about every job that exists at Gaylor. During that path, I actually went through apprenticeship school for Associated Builders and Contractors. And so I graduated as an employee of Gaylor. And that foundation of lifelong education really prompted me and moved me through the organization, as I did about every job, as I said. And I became a vice president. And then in 2014, John was getting ready to retire. And I put an ownership buyout plan together, and I purchased 49% of it in 2014. And then in 2017, I bought the rest of the organization. So it's been an unbelievable experience at Gaylor. We started out as an experiment. We continue that on about investing in our folks. And so that's kind of where I end up today as a president and CEO. All these folks that really come into the industry, or even just life experiences, mentorship is a huge deal. We literally have teams of Gaylor folks, and they're assigned to make sure they mentor each individual. You think about how it works in the trade. You have an apprentice that actually works with journeyman, and they actually learn the skills of a journeyman on the job with on-the-job training hours. And these young folks, or even folks that have been retrained in careers, because when we went through the recession back in the 10, a lot of people retrained and became a tradesperson. So that mentorship, not only in building the jobs, in engineering and back in our manufacturing shop, got to have that person that has that experience. I mean, that experience, that physical, looking at that experience, training and educating our folks that are just learning it. I mean, our innovation shop, every one of those high school students are assigned a mentor and a supervisor and a job coach. Over the years, for a long time I built projects, and I loved building projects. I mean, when we drive down the road and I tell my kids, I'm like, hey, I was part of building that job. And that went on for a long time, and I'm still very proud of that for our company, and you can probably see the Gaylor trailers throughout the state of Indiana. Now it's about developing people. This is nothing but a people business, and we spend a lot of time in developing people. I got a great executive committee team that literally runs their departments by developing people. And for me, the passion really is the young people in our world. I spend a tremendous amount of time in schools, colleges, just helping folks mentor, helping folks part of their education, getting them into the apprenticeship school, our career centers. And so education and developing people are really what I jump out of bed for in the morning.
Thanks to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of Business Equity and Opportunities. We hope you found the morning show helpful and inspiring. You can find more information about the show on our website. It's beoshow.com. There you'll find all 7 segments designed to interest both business startups and those of you already operating a small business. We always include these segments: tips on getting started, how to access capital, get the money that you'll need, running your business day to day, and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. Plus, we always share a success story from one of our contributors, too. We hope you'll join us again next Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, here on Wish TV. Other ways to watch as well, though. We have information about small businesses, promoting equity, diversity, and opportunities on our stream. You can stream the show live on wishtv.com and find content from all the shows to share on demand anytime with anyone at beoshow.com. For more, listen and subscribe to our BE&O podcast. It's part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. And sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable up-to-date information. If you have any questions, or if you'd like to be part of our show, email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. If your business or organization has upcoming events that you'd like us to feature, send us that information. We'll see what we can do. For the best results, be sure to get it to us at least 3 weeks ahead of time. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.